guys sound like pretty warm up. Are you guys ready for your first act of the night? Yeah, are you guys ready to start the show? Make some noise, yeah. Alright. So when I introduce the first act and I say his name, I want you guys to go as berserk as you can and just shout out, alright? Like as loud as you can. Is that okay? Is that everyone can do that for me? Yeah. Alright, so please give it up for your first act of the night, Rum!
Ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for Eugene! Having a brown show, we wanted to have a bit of turmeric powder. So it just kind of blends in itself. Nice. I feel so excited today. Today finally I got my first compliment. Someone came up to me and said, "You're really very funny looking." It was actually my niece. And she's a small little girl. And then I was actually reading her a bedtime story. You know the story of the tortoise and the hare? She just looked at me and said, "What hare?" And then she goes on and asks me this question. She said, "When you wash your face, where does it stop?" You feel me, brother? Nice, man. And then she decides to read me a poem. It's a very nice poem. She said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. The smell of the toilet reminds me of you." And then she goes on with another poem. She said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. Umbrellas get lost, so why don't you?" I know it's quite hurtful itself, right? But it's perfectly fine, because one of the beauty about comedy is that you have a chance to actually share your experiences and you can turn tragedy into comedy. So that's one of the things. Comedy is actually tragedy plus time. Sounds very philosophical already, right? So I want to share with you, I used to be a lead actor in a local football movie in Singapore. It's called Kallang Roar. About 11 years ago. It's free on the internet now. It's still free on the internet. I tried to take some of those YouTube videos and put it on my channel, and I've got like 4,000 views, all by me. It's really tough, because sometimes you think that you have like a lot of fans, right? So once I went over to the Singapore General Hospital, and I saw a lady in a wheelchair and a kid actually recognized me and saying, you're the actor from that football movie, right?" I said, "Yeah, wow." And she said, "Can I take a picture with you?" Oh my God, I just felt elevated already, And then said, "You acted with Kumar and all that, was very nice." Then "What Kumar?" "You mean one leg kicking?" "No, I acted in Kallang Roar." "Oh. You're not Mo Alkaf." And then she says, never mind. I take picture with you. So, just want to share with you, sometimes I may have a kind of a look that looks a little bit scary. I just want to share with you, like, it all happens because I've got nice parents who actually will educate their kids. So once I was walking along Yishun, a food court, minding my own business, walking happily, and this auntie was asking the kid to eat the food now, if not, this fella will take you back home. And now I'm looking at the kid, and the kid is now saying, "No, I don't want to go back home with him." And I'm now like questioning in my mind, like, why doesn't she want to go back with me? And I'm looking at the kid's mouth like, and I'm also like, and I just said, "Boo," and the kid started crying. And karma actually followed me, because then I walked inside a lift, and this time around I saw a smaller Chinese kid holding the mother's hand. And she was like so fascinated with my look, And she said, Ma, look, Apu Nene. And then the mother said, No, you cannot say that. And the kid looked back at the mother, looked back at me, and said, "Sorry, Uncle Apu Nene." Yeah. I just want to share with you, sometimes the look itself may look like a terrorist, but first and foremost I want to share with you, I'm actually Indian. Indians, we can never become terrorists because we can't keep a secret. The way we say things, it sounds more like a question, like the word bomb will be like bomb. So I just want to share with you, the best way to identify Indians is the way we dance. Like for example, North Indians and South Indians are totally different. North Indians will dance north up, will start to move their eyebrows. And then progress to moving the shoulders and the eyebrows. And they will do things like pedicure and manicure, like back of the hand, front of the hand, back of the hand. And they'll start to finger the air. South Indians are more seductive, usually dancing with another guy. Is it working, my friend? I'm actually North Indian. I stay in Yishun. Just want to share with you, women like the way I move. Only if I move away from them. Just want to share with you guys, I just turned 40. Waist-wise. The reason why I'm like this is because I got a mom who feeds a village. I'm that village. And it's really tough, because my mom always feels that she's doing something good for me. And she gets most of her inspiration from watching Bollywood movies. In every Bollywood movie, you got the hero, the victim, and the villain. My mom plays all three characters. And she always has to say, never leave the house empty stomach.
Yeah.
I have never left my house empty stomach. And whenever I go to school, the only sports I could join in school is Boy Scouts. Because my right thigh will rub against my left thigh, will start a fire. And then I'll come back home and I'll cry to another fat person, my dad. And then he's asking me, why are you crying? I said, people in school, they call me fat. He said, you're not fat, you're just easy to see. But he said one thing very nice. He said, you're fun, authentic, and talented. Now every time for comfort food, whenever I eat my cheesecake, I tell myself I'm fun, authentic, and talented. And this is how we actually change things. Just curious, I just want to see, here anyone has ever been caught for copying in school? Only me again? The reason why I was caught copying in school is because I got a beautiful friend who will say, teacher, Ram copying. And the teacher will come to me and ask me, are you copying? I said, no, I'm just doing market research. Then the teacher said, try to be funny, right? Do you know anyone who succeeded for copying? I said, yeah, the whole of China. I kind of looked up to the teacher because, the teacher has a lot of authority. Give me a chair, you had the experience, when the teacher had this wooden ruler.
Oh yeah.
And whenever the teacher takes this wooden ruler, it feels like the sword of Excalibur, right? And so much of power. I actually had a teacher, his name was Sam Cooper. He's an Indian guy, his name is Saminathan Kupusamy. So basically I was actually wanting to get a teacher's position, and true enough, I actually became a teacher. I was so excited. Any teachers in the house? No, only me. So I got a chance to be a teacher and I was so excited. I went to the art shop, I went to buy the longest, biggest wooden ruler. I went in front of the mirror, I started practicing the strokes. And I was going to pray and see who's going to be the kid that's going to come late to class. So I want to exert my power. And true enough, it was an Indian kid. And the kid walks in, I look at the kid looks right at me and I ask the kid, why you come late? He looked at me and said, none of your business. Yeah. Just when I was about to reach for the wooden ruler, he took out even something more powerful. He took out a smartphone. And he asked me, do you want me to make you famous? Tears went in my eyes because first time a kid wants to make me famous. It's one of those experiences itself. I just want to share with you, has anybody here ever been, when people try to correct the pronunciation of your name? Only me again? Sir, what's your name, sir? Anushuman. Nice, it's a very easy name to pronounce. My full name is Santanaram. Yes, I know, you lost me halfway, right? My mom was trying to buy some time when they named me. So, I went to go to a place called Starbucks, and I knew everything was probably going downhill because I looked at the counter, there was a lady who was actually ordering, and she said, hello. I said, no, hello. And I think the name of the drink was called a mocha frappuccino. She looked at me and said, mocha frappuccino? I said, no, mocha. And then finally the time comes, she asked me, what's your name? I said, my name is Santanaran. You have anything shorter? And I said, my name is Ram. She asked me, how you spell? I said, R-A-M. This one Ram lah, Ram, moo. And I'm like, what moo? And then she she says your name should be R-U-M. Somehow they like to associate Indians with alcohol. And speaking about alcohol, I was tasked, I'm not alcoholic, I was tasked to go and buy beer. Curious, any social activists, people who care about the earth and plastic bags? I'm just worried that I might offend you. Because I didn't realize I offended this lady who was actually a Muslim lady who had a tudung. She looked at me, I was carrying all this beer. She looked at me and said, haram. I said, no, santan haram. And then I was like trying to order to put the beer and then get this lady, a very beautiful lady in the counter itself. And then she was actually putting this beer inside the plastic bag. This lady behind got more and more angry. She got like literally like Angry Bird kind of look, you know. And then to a point where by the time she came up, she looked at the lady and she said, no plastic bag for me, okay? And I asked, can I have her plastic bag? So I just want to share with you, I met a girl in a very nice food establishment, McDonald's. And there was a connection, her eyebrows. In fact, she had one very attractive eye. It was so attractive, the other eye kept looking at it. But it was very nice, you know, because finally she came up and she spoke to me. And she asked, are you ready to order? That's one of my pet experiences itself. Here, anybody eats roti prata? You're gonna hate me for this. Do you know the reason why roti prata tastes so nice? Because you're tasting the flavors of an Indian man. I'm sorry. No, I know, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So I went to order roti prata, and the person who actually served me roti prata gave me something like a fortune cookie, gave me something inside the roti prata. It was hair. I know, it was quite disgusting. And I looked at him, I said, what is this hair? He looked at me and said, Panjang Umur, which actually means long life. I said, shut up, can you go change it or not? And he brings back another roti prata, this time around with the curlier, longer hair. I said, what the hell? Then I asked him this question, why? Then he looked at me and said, brother, you don't understand. Do you know, during the Gulf oil Mexican spill, they actually use hair to absorb oil. So technically, I'm giving you a cholesterol-free roti prata. What a rubbish excuse. Then I went to go meet the guy who was doing roti prata. He was bald. I don't want to CSI that. But you know, sometimes people who do roti prata can also find an alternative job. They can also be like a masseuse. So talking about massage, I actually went to go and get a massage in Thailand. A clean one, I went to a clean massage. And the lady at the counter looked at me and said, are you lady? I'm wondering, what the hell? Then she said, are you lady for your massage? Oh, lady for your massage. And then what actually happened was, I went for an oil massage. And I didn't realize that every time she puts the oil on my body, it disappears. Like how I had food on the table, it disappears. It just started to disappear. Then she kept on wondering, she kept on putting more and more oil and it disappears. And then she's wondering, how is it possible that I put oil in the body and it disappears? And then she asked me a question, how does it disappear? Then I said, during the Gulf oil Mexican spill. So, you know, like sometimes you have all these beautiful experiences that happen. I'm not trying to think of what am I going to say next, because that's how prepared I am in terms of comedy. I just had a full class today. I was a trainer. I train people itself. People think I'm a physical trainer, but look at me with the size itself. But then again, it's perfectly fine, because fat people, we are resilient because of our ability to bounce back. So talking about acting itself, you know, sometimes when you look at actors itself, right, Indians sometimes we're a little bit, for me it's a bit inferior, right? We'll try to do some things a little bit better. So like whenever you go acting itself, You know, like when normal actor will say the word bastard, Indians will try to exaggerate it and say, bastard! So we try to do a bit better in everything. So like the Chinese people, they have like Chinese tea, Indians will have masala tea with their hair. The Chinese will try to do acupuncture, Indians will do that same acupuncture and will put it on display and we'll call it Thai Pusam. Sorry, this is a local joke itself, Thai Pusam. Sorry, I didn't offend any people out there. Okay. I took a train from India itself. Anybody took a train in India? I took the train in India and I didn't realize I was faster than the trains in India. And I looked at the crowd, I saw everyone recognize me. I thought they recognized me from the movie Kalang Raw. It wasn't the case. I knew I did something particularly wrong. And I realized that if ever you were in a situation like that, you have to find a way to blend in the locals. I found a method to blend in. So I went to India, I tried to practice the word I. Sorry, I tried it. I. Policeman looked at me and said, shut up. I tried again. I. Policeman said, shut up. You know what you did wrong? No? I said, I have no idea. You were actually in a woman's compartment. I said, really? But they all look like men. Policeman again said, shut up. And I realized at that point in time, if you watch enough of Bollywood movies, you have to look at the policeman dead straight in the eye and tell him this one line. Look at him and ask him, do you know who's my father? He asked me, why don't you ask your mother? You guys enjoying so far? Yeah. I just want to leave you with this one particular thought itself. There's a difference between, in terms of, training-wise, sometimes we tend to learn a lot of things. I went to learn Chinese in Singapore. So, like sometimes it backfires. So as a trainer, one of the things that we do is to teach people languages. So I didn't realize that people from China, they learn in sentences like, I'm fine, thanks, how are you? And I didn't realize one point in time, this student fell down and asked what happened. She looked back and said, I'm fine, thanks, how are you? So it got me into figuring out how to learn languages. So I tried to find out and learn languages. And I didn't realize it actually backfired back to me. I went to order rice in Chinese. So I went to this counter and I said, can I have some chifen? And the lady said, huh? I said, can I have some chifen? Huh? Then only I found out, she said, fun. Sai. It was actually brown rice. 50 shades of brown. And ever since then, I decided not to speak Chinese again. But it got me to think how to learn languages. So I got to learn languages. You know how you say I love you in Chinese? Wo ai ni. For those people who are non-Chinese speaking, very simple. It's wo ai ni. So now if you want to learn Tamil, I'm actually South Indian. The joke of North Indian is not true. I'm actually South Indian. One person looked at me and asked me, can you go and check with your parents? I'm actually South Indian. I know about Tamil. I'm going to teach you how to say the word I love you in Tamil. But you have to first understand, I love you means you loving. So does anybody here eat naan? It's not going to be a joke about hair anymore. Naan means, shall we try and say the word naan? I is actually called naan. Shall we try and say together? Naan. But not, the naan is not said like this. Naan is like one end of the beach to the other end of the beach. You've got to keep on saying like this. Naan. Now you know why the movies are very long? Now you becomes Wunnai. So Wunnai is like goes into Wunnai. Shall we try and see? You know, Wunnai is more like a boomerang. You throw the boomerang and then it comes back this way. So it goes like Wunnai. Shall we try and see? 3, 2, 1. Wunnai. Very nice. The last word, loving, is called Kadalikarin. I'll make it simple. You know the normal way of cars in Singapore? So car, the, lick, key, rain. But imagine you're saying the same words going up the roller coaster and coming down. So it goes with this car, the, lick, key, rain. Shall we try to say this together? As one family, 3, 2, 1. fast way I try to get people to say I love me itself. So nice. But sometimes you get very inspired, when you try to learn languages and you try to move on itself. So sometimes I want to bring back this point about happiness. Do you know the difference between absolute happiness and relative happiness? Absolute happiness is when you're absolutely happy. Relative happiness is when your relatives are happier than you. So sometimes I was called to go for, this house warming where the relatives are there, and I've got very beautiful uncle and aunties, and they'll come and say, my uncle will say, my daughter did very well in her PSLE studies, exams. She got 4 A's. Then I've got another uncle who said, my son did very well in art class. And my mother will say, my son can eat. I say, Mom, I'm already 40 years old already. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Back to Eugene.